Welcome to the darkness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. And we are streaming for the very first time live in Rumble. So if you are new to our Rumble page, this is a new show for you. We come on every Wednesday night. And hey, Kim, we come on every Wednesday night for a psychic medium show. And Celeste is one of our psychic mediums, and she's stellar. And we also have Susie, and she's not feeling super well tonight, so she's taking the night off. And then we have McKenna, who does a terrific research. And so we have a really good show. For any of you joining us for the very first time on any of the platforms we stream to, you can ask a question at any time. You just type it in the chat, and Celeste will give you a reading tonight. So if you have a specific question about, should I go to my boss for this raise, or I'm looking at maybe a new job, or we're thinking about buying a house, anything like that, just pop it in the chat, and you can ask at any time, even during our paranormal discussion that we're going to have tonight. So, ladies, how are you guys? It's been a week of Mondays already.
Yeah. It really
I'm loving the weather, though.
Oh my God, the weather.
Myself. I was outside without my jacket this morning. So
hey, Max. I know the weather has been incredible. So something came up on this day in history on one of my email or Facebook or something like that, right? And it's Bannock, Montana, this where the ghost town is. Mm-hmm. This day in Bannock was the coldest temperature recorded. I don't know for Montana, but at least for Bannock, it was minus 62 degrees this day. 60. Yeah, it was like 100 years ago. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, minus 62. No wind, thankfully, because
No
anyway.
Wind? That's like even more shocking. Like
I know,
no wind.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
the wind was frozen.
Yeah, the wind froze. It stopped. Yeah. Crazy. Montana we get cold. We can get really cold. And McKenna, you can get pretty cold where you are. You're only a couple of degrees difference than us.
We've been in the 50s for the past couple days, and like the 40s the whole week before. Like it's been like we got snow like one time and it didn't stick.
Yeah, we still have a tiny bit patches of snow here, but there's been no winter to speak of. It's bizarre. I'm loving it, but I know fire season is going to be hell on earth out here, all over the western U.S. It's going to everything's going to burn. So, if you guys haven't done your fire protection around your property, do it now, please. Everybody who lives in those zones, get those trees away from the house. Yeah. I mean, I like the overtime, but we don't need these catastrophic fires anymore, guys. So make sure that you're doing your fire-wise landscaping and all that kind of stuff. So tonight, what's up?
Well, I was going to say, like, it's kind of like when you were up here visiting, and we were talking about like the fire prevention, from the time that like you were here in September until like it was cold enough that they were shutting down like the national forest. They don't ever shut it down, but they close off like campsites and stuff. They had gone through and burned all the houses that we saw, like they're totally removed, like, and it just made me think, I'm like, poor California,
Yes. Hey Max, so you're checking us out on Rumble tonight. Is it looking okay on Rumble? I'm super stoked that we're now streaming on our page in Rumble. If you guys are on Rumble, follow us, because it'll help us monetize. You get monetized really, really quick on Rumble, so we're super stoked. But yeah, so we've been burning for the agency I work for. We've been burning now constantly, trying to get ahead of what's going to happen. So a lot of piles. Looks good, sounds good. Yay! Whoop! Thanks, Kim. Oh yeah, I didn't see, Kim, that you signed in on Rumble too. Thanks. Yeah, so we are going to continue our conversation from the last few weeks on using ESP and doing different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to start tonight, do you think?
Well, we have, well, I hope we've watched this video. You sent us this video, and it's titled like Dreams Are Real, or like Dreams Are Reality. And it's the science behind, and also different like experiments behind like lucid dreaming, and like the connection of like connected minds, or not particularly telepathic abilities, or I'm not sure if you would consider it telepathic, but like foresight, like seeing things that will happen.
Precog, right? Precognition, right?
Precognition.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like there's a couple of the stories that I like specifically remember. So they mentioned Leonard Skinner and the airplane. And JoJo, who I'm not sure how JoJo was associated with the band, but I guess she was a member.
She was a singer.
Okay, great. Thank you. But she had a dream like a night before, like a week before, like the plane crash, and she saw it happen. And so she didn't get on this plane that the rest of the band got on. And she woke up in the middle of the night, like screaming, crying, because she knew that the plane had crashed before anybody else did. Like her mom was like comforting her. She was like, they're fine. And then they got the news later on that they had died in a plane crash.
Yeah. And there are several. I mean, I think most of us can count that we've all probably had precognition. Maybe some of us don't remember it as well as others do. But I know, Celeste, you've had that over and over and over. It's like daily for you.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a dream state, and sometimes it's you just get that feeling. It's just it's not an anxiety, it's not like just worry, it's just this different cold feeling that you get.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah. So
and I've talked about those feelings, right? Go ahead, McKenna. There's a lag. I'm trying to figure out why we have a lag going on.
I just have to mention.
Okay, you go ahead, McKenna.
I'm going to just keep talking. It is lagging a little bit, but there wasn't a lag when it was just you and I talking, Colleen, but Celeste has so much. The second she logged on to us, like backstage.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It like started going wacko, and that is our theme. It's our theme because you bring in so much energy. It just the internet.
Yeah, I know. She breaks phones too.
Blow light bulbs, blow fuses. Yeah, pretty much me.
So like I feel like a lot of people have like a misconception that like premonition like has a lot of negative connotation, because you hear about people like dreaming of or foreseeing like death, destruction, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you hear about like the good things, but you don't hear about it as often. So like when you get like just like a feeling, whether it's like a cold feeling or if it is always a cold feeling, like how do you know like kind of what it is that's going to happen? Does it feel cold still, or does it feel different?
For me, are you asking me, or are you just asking it?
You go first, Celeste.
Yeah.
First.
I don't always get a cold feeling. It's just, it's weird because it's not a daily kind of usual thing. And sometimes it's chills. Sometimes it's like a deja vu feeling. Like I've been there, done that before. The dreams, and I think for me anyway, and I think probably for a lot of other people, even when I'm doing regular readings, negative things, death, scary things are heavy energy. And so they stick with us better. We remember it when we wake up because it's dense and it's heavy and it can be scary. The good things, we probably have a lot of dreams or feelings about good things that are going to happen. It just is lighter. And so it doesn't stick with the memory, or it doesn't stand out enough that you realize that you're getting a premonition.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I don't recall feeling any kind of coldness, but it took me a while to realize that what I was doing was precognitive and not just a dream state. Like, it wasn't until the things started happening and I started recording that in a little book that I'm real, oh, they are precognitive. You know, I thought it was just really bad nightmares.
Yeah.
And then realizing that no, within a day or two, those nightmares were true. So those are, yeah. And like Celeste says, I don't remember all the good stuff that I'm sure I've had. It just, the bad ones are so terrifically bad. They stick with you. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the interesting things that I've experienced with other people is when multiple people from all over will have a premonition of an event. The same event, it might be a little different in their dream, but like everybody has this dream about a volcano going off, or about, a lot of people had, and it was weird because it was after the Twin Tower things that people were like, I saw the people running in New York and all the rubble, but they didn't coordinate it till it actually happened. And it's like, okay, did they all have that premonition, or did some people just want to jump on the bandwagon? But I know several. I was in a chat room. I was reading for California Psychics at that time, and there were probably 20 or 30 people in the chat room, and at least five or six people had premonitions within the week of that happening. Some, it was the plane crashing. Most of them, it was the rubble. I don't know if you all watched the videos, and the people were, when the towers were crashing down and the people were running or covered in dirt and all of that. And it, you know, everybody's images of it was a little different, but that was really interesting to experience. To have so many people throughout the country were like, I dreamt about that.
And I did save, like, so under this video that Colleen sent to us, there's, you know, thousands of comments. And I went through and I went to go watch the video a second time because I watched it once and then I was like, I'm going to do a refresher. And then I got like a huge ADHD moment and started reading the comments. And like, I went through the entirety of the video, but didn't hear a single word because I was reading the comments. And there was one in there about 9/11, but I saved a bunch of them. So when we have, when we kind of get through like the meat and potatoes of our talk, I can go through and kind of start sharing some stories from people that just shared.
Yeah. It's the whole, you know, we just don't tap into what our mind is really capable of. I don't think we tap into it very much. And if you do, you're labeled a freak. Or, you know, the psychology wants to get a hold of you, and, or the government. And it's not, so a lot of people don't talk about stuff, or their church will say something bad about them, and, or your neighbor will give you the stink eye when you walk outside, because it's too bad it's not is more accepted, because most of us have some sort of ability. We just, a lot of people are really afraid to talk about it, and they shouldn't be, but they are. So one of the things that in that video that we shared with each other was synchronization. Do you remember exactly where he was going with that at first, McKenna? It was talking about synchronizing the brain, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's exactly what you were talking about your experience between the couple like different hemispheres.
Mhm.
Um, that does sound like I'm sure it was mentioned in there, but it was like they mentioned a few different things. So they mentioned like studies that were done by like the CIA, by independent like psychologists, scientists, PhDs, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and sorry, totally like et cetera, et cetera. Reminds me of Willy Wonka.
Squirrel.
Yep, exactly. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Just going through the contract at the end. Anyways, squirrel moment. Um, but like there's this a massive like studies, and they are mostly centered around like dream interpretation, and that there are certain like scenarios or environmental factors that um, create like a higher like likelihood of like events, essentially psychic events. uh, and I mean they referenced all kinds of things, as far as like things they had looked into research, and they actually mentioned a couple of the studies that had been done by like Russia, the Soviet Union, China, that we had kind of covered before in like the Gate program episode. Um, I was trying to go through because I keep all of my notes. And I have like the print off of like the lists of like the different like psychic experiments like cataloged or performed by our government, to find which ones were like the same that they were mentioning. Uh, didn't get through all of them, but I did think that that was pretty interesting. Let's see. So one of the things that I found especially intriguing, because usually like we think about having some sort of psychic ability or premonition, like associated with like a higher form of energy or a higher frequency. Um, but in their research and their observations, they found that that wasn't the case in these specific scenarios. So what they noticed was that in times of like geomagnetic calm, they had an increased number of spontaneous cases or spontaneous reports of people having premonitions. Or like sharing dreams with like people. There was an account that I had read of two people. They had decided to try it, and they fell asleep with their foreheads touching. They fell asleep next to each other with their foreheads touching, and they dreamed the exact same dream. But essentially, like this part where there's less like geomagnetic energy, so it's like fewer like electrical storms and like the atmosphere, fewer sunspots, and like there's less magnetism in the atmosphere, so there's like not like the aurora borealis or anything like that that's like high energy, is when people are having those like those premonitions. It's kind of like studying the environment. But they also mentioned in that I thought was very interesting, was that's could potentially be a reason why we all have phones. We all are given this technology that we have like this electrical presence or force, essentially in our ear, on our heads, or in our faces all day long to suppress those psychic abilities. But I don't know.
Also, it represses social interactions. When you have your phone, oh, don't come to my house, or oh, let me send you a text. It's like it's kind of taken over a lot of other means of communication, especially face to face kind of thing. So it's kind of detrimental on a lot of levels.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, and it also opened up a line of communication for people who are very introverted, who otherwise wouldn't even get out into the social, the world.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of but it I don't know. It's kind of,
It's a
you
double-edged
win some, you
sword.
lose some with it, Yeah, it's really, really hard to, yeah. For me, what bothers me about the whole like cell phone world is you go to dinner and you see everybody on their phone and nobody's talking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when people come over to dinner here, I want everybody to put your phone away.
Mhm.
And people have gotten actually mad at me. I'm like, no, I cooked you a dinner. Put your phone away.
Yep.
Be present in the moments for us to have dinner. Then you can get on your phone and catch up on your 30 texts that came in the hour we were eating and having a good time. But put your phone away. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. She's so miserable. She's so miserable.
Oh, she
She's
looks so
she's
miserable.
She is. She's in heat. It's her first heat. She
Oh,
gets spayed in 2 weeks and she has no idea what the heck's going on with her body. And she's miserable. She's been howling for 2 days. The household hasn't gotten any sleep in 2 days.
oh no.
Howling.
Can't let her outside.
Can't let her out.
She'll
Can't
make her
let
way
her
to the
out.
corner.
I mean, all of my boys in the barn are neutered except one. So he was dumped and I can't get a hold of him yet. Can't take the chance. So
Yeah.
yes.
When I was a kid, my Siamese, when she went into her first heat, was like the universe was ending. And my mom rushes her to the vet thinking she's dying. And he's like, she's got some excess hormones right now.
Mhm. Yeah, she's just been cray. So at least she's let me hold her right now. But she's a mess. She's a mess. She's just like hating the world right now.
She's not in
little
pain.
baby.
She's just
right.
being a
I'll be right
hussy.
back.
Oh,
So we were talking about some of the stuff on that here. I can mute. I can mute. And we're muting. Okay. Some of the stuff on the video that we had watched, and this was a really interesting show on precognitive abilities and dreaming and frequency of the brain. And one of the things they were talking about was synchronizing the hemispheres of your brain to help. I don't know if they really talked why people would do it, but I went through that under hypnosis for I want to say a good year. I did this. So I found he's no longer practicing, and I wish he was here in town, but he would do hypnosis. He would put you under lightly, but then you had electrodes on your brain, and this computer would work with your brain, and it would read both left and right hemisphere. And as you're watching just images on a screen, and as the music is because he would use different music, as you're listening to this music, you could see it on the screen too. If you could look at it, I could look at it every once in a while and see what was going on. If you became more left or more right hemisphere as you were thinking during the music, the music would skip. It would skip a beat, skip, and it would throw you into even frequencies. And as soon as you went too left or too right, the music would skip again, and it would bring your brain back to working equally in both hemispheres. So the reason why he did this was I went in there for PTSD, and when you got done with an hour of doing that, you felt amazing. You felt like you conquered the world, like everything was going your way. It was like you felt amazing. That resetting those frequencies between left and right hemisphere, I can't even tell you what that it is. Like, you don't feel like it's doing anything. After a while, you do fall asleep. After a few sessions, you get so relaxed with it, you fall asleep, but it's still skipping. It's still putting you back into center. And he said, if the faster you fall asleep, actually, the more it works because you're not fighting it so much. You become cognizant of what it's doing, but you still can't control your brain that much, to make it stop doing that. It's pretty interesting. It was a really interesting technique that he did, and I wish he was still in practice.
So what are some things or differences that you noticed from between your first session and your last session?
Anxiety. The anxiety disappeared. I tend to, I hide anxiety, not from those of you who know me, but from the outside world, I tend to hide it. But, I noticed that pretty much all my anxiety left me probably by the 10th session. Felt like nothing, there was, nothing was wrong ever. Like I felt great. My sleeping improved, everything improved. It was really incredible. If we could all work that way and get our brains in that perfect harmony between left and right lobe, we'd all be like, think of what we could do, because that's what as he explained it, it was a hypnotherapist I went to for PTSD. And as he explained it, that we get caught up in being too left or right hemisphere, and it's detrimental. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. Yeah.
I would imagine it might be like driving your car with the inflated part of the tires different. So it's still going, but you've got that little bit of a imbalance as you're going. Because it sounds like when your brain is in balance, it just runs smoother.
Yeah. And everything runs smoother.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if there are things being done that we aren't aware of that keep us out of balance.
Well, I don't think all of the electronics help.
No,
I really don't. I think that it causes a lot of anxiety and chaos in our lives, and people don't unplug as often as they should.
Yeah. Well, I've heard even the Wi-Fi that you should never have a modem near your bedroom. You should never charge your cell phone in your bedroom. Because Wi-Fi is just like any other sound wave or anything. It's in the atmosphere, and we can't see it and we can't move away from it.
Yeah. I don't know my modem's in my bedroom closet. You know what I mean? That's where it comes into the house. I don't know. I do know that, Wi-Fi definitely can. I do know that the night that my mother died, I had to start sleeping with the TV on. If there's no TV, I have a hard time. I'm all night long. I'm up. Just that little hum of and it's always, believe it or not, it's a crime show. I do crime show because they're talking through it. There's no music. Music keeps me up. But the chatter, I put it on so low that I really can't hear it. And the people talking put me out. It's weird.
I put on hoof trimming videos to fall asleep.
I'd be too involved in it. You're not doing it right.
I watch it really closely if like at first, especially if there's something juicy happening, but eventually, I get numb to it and it's like
do you do this and you're like, why am I watching this? And then 25 minutes later, I'm still watching. And it's like, let's stop that access. Yeah, no, I do that all the time. Why am I watching?
It's like seeing a car accident. Like you can't look away.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I think we all have such unique patterns, and it's so hard. Like when I travel with our team, and try to go anywhere because everybody has different sleeping. I was like, oh God, how am I going to get to sleep tonight? Because nobody else can handle the TV on. Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah. See, Kim has a similar thing too. And maybe, I don't know. I have ADHD. Maybe it's an ADHD quality. But I have to have noise to be productive. It is the weirdest thing. Or I have to be in the specific environment for that productivity. I can't work out at home. I can't do computer learning at home. I have to be in a school or in a gym. Or I have to have something happening up here so I can do stuff out here. So
I wrote my best papers in the busiest restaurants, like when I was in college. If it was chaos in the restaurant, I could sit there and just focus and write down to that paper and just get it done. But if I was at home, forget about it. Yeah. Wasn't going to happen. So what do you guys think about this one of the videos that we had watched for homework for the show was Abraham Lincoln's premonition of being shot, but he didn't think it was going to be him. Right? And that was fascinating.
So I guess he had two. Well, he's had multiple premonitions.
Multiple.
I guess like he was very much into like dream diary, like dream cataloging. Like he kept track of all of that. He did have like a specific dream of like a president being assassinated like the night before his assassination, and then or it was like they were in the, like, I think the dream specifically was he was in the White House, like in the White House, and like had asked someone like what happened, and someone responded to him, the president was assassinated, and like happened the next day. Like he told his wife about it. But before that, he had a premonition about his son shooting him or somebody, and so he had like called his wife, gotten a hold of his wife, and was like, hey, any guns I have lying around there, make sure our kid has no access, or like make sure you take away his gun. And she did, and I mean nothing ever happened, but like something disastrous could have.
Yeah. Well, it was really fascinating too, because President Reagan and his wife were very into dream analysis, precognition. Do you remember all of that, Celeste? Like and multiple lives?
Kind
I
of.
think.
I was gonna say I was like in 7th grade or something like that, and I don't know, he kind of fascinated me. It was the odd mixture of there's an actor and he's the president and we're like going to go to nuclear war with Russia. I mean, there was so much happening. I don't remember specifically picking up on having the premonition dreams or anything, but
yeah, Nancy Reagan was really, really big into precognition and multiple lives. Like she had studied her past lives, she'd done regression. She was very used a lot of those abilities that she had to help guide Reagan through being governor of the California and then into the presidency. She was very influential in him because she would tap into a lot of this stuff, and everybody was like, woo woo, woo woo, Nancy. You know, they made fun of her, but she was very, very good with being able to use those abilities to help him in his leadership roles. It was a really interesting dynamic that they had, because he was really very, I mean, he was a TV star Western cowboy who became a governor, who became the president. And I think she was there every step of the way, and she used her woo-woo abilities to help. Yeah. Fascinating stuff.
Wasn't there an attempted assassination on him? Or am I daydreaming that?
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet she may have had something to do with why it wasn't successful.
Maybe. Yeah. Wasn't he shot? Reagan was shot.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Or he was shot at, and then the guy that was standing next to him,
one of his guards, I believe, got killed protecting
him.
I think
Baker, because we have the Baker Act because of that. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So he was shot.
He was shot.
So it was John Hinckley attempted to assassinate him. Because I looked up psychic.
Oh, that's right. He was in love with Jodie Foster, and he thought that would get her attention.
I mean, to be fair, Jodie Foster is
argue with that logic, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I want Jodie Foster's attention too.
No, we all. But I'm not going to go shooting people to get it either.
Right.
Good grief.
So what came up when I like searched Ronald and Nancy and like psychic? It brought up Joan Quigley. So she was called on by First Lady Nancy Reagan in 1981 after John Hinckley's attempted assassination of the president. And she was an astrologer. She was an astrologer best known for her astrological.
Yeah.
I was at school for all day. Astrological advice to the Reagan White House in the 1980s.
Yeah. She was maybe that's when Nancy tapped into it. I could have sworn that she tapped into it before then, but maybe not.
I
Probably
think she
prior.
did before.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she did too. But Nancy was really something else. I mean, a lot of people made a lot of fun of that lady, but she had a lot going on when it came to tapping into these abilities. And we've talked a little bit about different premonitions that we've had, that my mother had, and they fascinate me because funny thing, that is funny. Something about these shows affects our speech. Yes, Kim, it's true. Thursday night we're all tongue tied too. What amazes me though is how many people do have premonitions and who poo-poo it. And even when the premonition comes true the next day, or they know who's calling on the phone before we could read who's calling on the phone. You know what I mean? When we had a house phone, and you'd be like, oh, and you would just answer the phone and say, hey, Suze, how you doing? You know, you knew, but you wouldn't recognize it, or you wouldn't acknowledge it. You recognized it, but you wouldn't acknowledge it. And have you ever had anybody who had shared the same dream as you on the same nights?
I don't know. I had anyone with identical, but yeah, I've had that similar theme, like a catastrophe coming.
Identical. Not so. That's what me and my best friend Susie would do. We had exactly the same dreams, and when we'd call each other, you know, like if it was on a Friday night, Saturday morning, we call each other, and I'd be all excited to tell her the dream, and she'd finish it. I'd start off telling her about the dream. She goes, yeah, I had it too. And we did it all the time. I don't know where that comes from. I think probably twins do it. I think probably they're that close. And possibly a lot of friends do. If you're really, really close with someone, you probably have that connection where you're doing that, but maybe you're not aware of it. We knew it was happening. So we're always telling each other, finishing each other's dreams. Like, yeah, and so did that. It's like, oh my God, that was weird. But what about dream interpretation? Celeste, you're pretty good about it. You're pretty good with this.
I think one of the misconceptions is people often believe every dream is predicting exactly what you dream. And a lot of times, if it's a premonition kind of a dream, yeah, it might be predicting. But a lot of times it's more symbolic. Like if you dream about your teeth falling out, doesn't mean your teeth are going to fall out. It is often that you're really worried about things, or things are out of your control that's making you feel worried, concerned, those kind of things. So it's kind of interesting how that happens. It's not always translated exactly what you dream. And even in some, like I think I've talked about it before, where I would have premonition dreams of when people were going to pass, and mine wouldn't be exact. For example, when my uncle passed, I dreamt it was a great uncle, but it was in the same church. It was the same dark steel blue casket, you know, so it was, and they both were related on the exact same side of the family. But the dream, it was a different relative than who died, but then the other one died shortly after. So I don't know. It's kind of strange that just because you dream you're going to go to school naked doesn't mean you're going to go to school naked. It usually means that you're stressed out or worried about like a test coming up, or you're embarrassed about, you know, you have a crush on somebody.
Yeah, get out of my head.
It's funny
because I was thinking,
are you dreaming naked?
I was thinking that, like, I remember
funny?
those dreams, like when I was younger, about showing up somewhere and you realize you don't have any clothes on, you know, and how just horrified you are over it. And I always thought that was probably because you felt like you weren't in control of something. But
yeah. It's funny. And sometimes they are, your dreams are what's coming, or, you know, what's going on. But a lot of the time it is like metaphorical or symbolic, or it's a different actual scenario than what the dream is, but the feeling that you got in the dream can be the same feeling that you're trying to deal with in reality.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm not in your head. You're in my
No,
head.
no, you're in my head tonight. I remember too, I had a lot of dreams as a child, and I don't as much anymore where I'm flying, where I'm up building level, treetop level flying, and I can see everything. I can see my school, I can see my house, I can see everything. And I had it all the time. And I don't know if Celeste is frozen. She may come. There she is. But I don't know of the dreams.
I was, but I'm back, I think.
Okay. Is every dream where you're flying, do you think that's astral projection?
I don't know. I think I can only recall one dream where I was flying, and it was like, this is gonna sound so stupid, but for those who like played Halo, if you know what Blood Gulch is, I was flying on a book through Blood Gulch from Halo. So that was the one flying dream that I actually remember.
That remark that Trista left, that comment about her boss, that I've had those kind of dreams too, where like I was on my way to see my mom, and that I wake up before I get there, kind of thing. And I don't know if that might be pretty common with people we've lost. Like we want so much to see them, and it just doesn't happen. I'm wondering if that's the case with those kind of dreams. Yeah.
I mean, it could also be like a visit, their spirit coming to visit you, and just the fact that like they may be in your presence, like your energy, could be reflecting in your dream. I mean, I don't know how it works, but like that would be like comforting, if like someone that I had loved had passed on and they come to you in a dream, or you just get that feeling that like they're there or they're nearby enough to have that image show up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't forget to ask a question if you guys would like a reading. Please drop one in the chat.
I do have some stories of people. Like, so I saved a bunch of like screenshots of like the people that had like talked about their own experiences. So we'll kind of go through them and comment as needed. Okay, so this one, the user was Mr. K San 05. And Trista wants a reading. So I'll get through this super fast. He says, no one will believe this one, but here it is. In 1991, I had a dream that my new bride, in parentheses, married for a year, walked into a hospital where a doctor told her I was badly injured and wouldn't walk again. Then my wife came into the hospital and told me she was leaving me for a man she had already been seeing before I was hurt, because she was not going to spend her life taking care of a crippled man. Fast forward to 1995, so this is 4 years later, and my neck was broken on the job. The doctor said I wouldn't walk again, and my wife left me while I was in the hospital, telling her sister she wasn't going to spend her life taking care of a cripple. She had been seeing another man for 5 months, and she married him and had 2 children. Where the dream got it wrong, I did walk again.
Oh, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, man. Right? What a cold-hearted woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Celeste, do you have anything for Trista?
All right. So this is kind of insider information because I kind of know this part. There's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been some things happening that maybe you weren't expecting, but anyway, so I'm feeling like that should smooth out better. Less, what's the word I want? Things hitting you out of the blue or sideswiped that you weren't expecting. One of the things that you want to do is pay really close attention to your feelings. And like we're talking about tonight, is if you have a feeling that something could go left, to pay attention or share that information. That has always been something that I've disliked with my gifts is when I get bad information. Is that because I'm supposed to stop it? Is that because I'm supposed to prepare for it? Is that because I'm supposed to do something different to prevent it? And the part I've learned to realize is it's not important what that is. It's important that you pay attention. And like, if you have a feeling somebody's going to be in a car accident, go a different route, let them know, make sure you wear your seatbelt, just basic kind of things, because sometimes we get so caught up in life that we aren't listening to those little cues and warnings. And I feel like you are more in tune than you realize. And when you're getting those little cues, like maybe something is wrong physically and you should go see a doctor, maybe there's an accident that's going to happen. When we're more prepared, more alert, maybe we're paying attention and we notice the car that's running the red light, or we see that patch of ice that we're walking up on so that we don't slip. So make sure that you're listening. We get hints. I am the queen of, can I get a signier sign than this sign? Like the sign that literally says, go for it. Can you give me something more specific? So we'll hear songs. We'll see bulletin boards or big signboards as we're driving down the road. We'll have a friend come up and say something to us. Pay attention to those little things, those little cues, because they can help us to prevent, not have things be as bad, just be more cautious and more aware. Does it?
A Leo in her.
Yeah, it could be. But no, I'm like, sometimes I need a brick, and then pretty soon, sometimes a literal brick. Yeah, that's great. So, and that goes for everybody, is just pay attention to those little things. I don't know if you guys have seen the meme, and it's this really old looking lady smoking cigarettes. And it's like, this is my guardian angel because I don't listen. And it's like, yep, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I
thank you, Celeste.
There may be a couple more little bumps, but I think the more you listen and pay attention to the universal little signs you get, you may have a smoother ride.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that happens to all of us. We want a sign, but we want to get hit upside the head with the sign, because the signs are there, but we're not. Either we're seeing them and going, "That's not enough. Give me a bigger sign." Yeah,
we all want the burning bush.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
there's someone to come up. I am the sign that you are looking for in your face right now. And it's like, yeah, that billboard that said, whatever, that wasn't about me. What a coincidence,
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to dive right onto the next little.
McKenna, don't read their screen names.
Don't read them? Okay.
No, don't their screen name. Just read the rest of it.
Okay. All right. So this person said, my mother died when I was 11 years old. 15 years later, I had a recurring dream one night, waking up upset and crying. I dreamt that I was in a busy train station and found my mother sitting at a table talking to someone. I called to my mother, but she would not look in my direction. She was happily talking and reminiscing with someone who I could only see as a gray cloud. She asked this person where my father was and that she had been waiting for him. My mother was so happy to see this person, and I had a feeling she knew them well. My mother turned to me and said, "You don't belong here," and that was the end of the dream. The next day, I found out that my mother's best friend passed away the previous day. I had not seen my mother's friend for years and heard nothing in the weeks and months prior that would have prompted this dream. I know I witnessed my mother greeting her friend in heaven.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's really amazing. That's really amazing.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cool ones in here for sure. So this one was wild. So this one says, I jumped awake around 3 a.m. one night with the overwhelming knowledge that my little brother had died. I couldn't shake the feeling. 2 weeks later, I had to move home where my little brother lived at the time. We got to talking about DMT and death, and he revealed to me that 3 weeks earlier he had overdosed on fentanyl and was dead on arrival, and dead for 28 minutes before they resuscitated him. And he says, "My family doesn't believe me, but I know."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's yeah.
And so many people like have these experiences, you know, and it can't be a coincidence when there's so many from all different types of like backgrounds, ethnic groups, religions, races, you know. It's wild. This one was cute. It says, "For the last 5 years or so, I've been having consistent dreams about a woman I've never met or seen. I hope to find her one day."
Oh.
The interesting thing with that, with some different people that I've worked with, it can be a dream of a past life, and that was some type of a soulmate. And it can just be that's how you're kind of reconnecting, is in the dream state. But it can also mean that that person could be coming back into your life, obviously, probably in a different, inside of a different skin suit. But it's funny because it can be a warning is not the right word, but a hint that maybe your soulmate, your twin flame, your whatever. And the thing is that so many people are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be the love of my life again. And it might be, but it might be your child, or your child's spouse, or a new friend. Is often soul families reincarnate together, but you don't always play the same role from life to life. Sometimes you're the bad guy, sometimes you're the victim, sometimes you're the mother, sometimes you're the teacher, different things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Dave. He's got 2 vehicles out of commission. He's being made stationary. Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm sorry to hear that.
And it could be keeping you off the road out of an accident.
We'll see. For a reason.
Mm-hmm.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's really fascinating. We've touched a little bit in previous episodes about like twin connections, and we've talked a little bit about them. I don't know that there's anything closer than twins telepathically, like on a day-to-day basis. I went to school with probably 5 sets of twins through my like K through 8th grade, and they were creepy. Can I just say they were creepy? And it's not because we didn't understand them as kids. We didn't understand what was going on. These kids had a level of communication that nobody could bust through. They just knew what each other were thinking all the time, or feeling, or experiencing, even in different classrooms. Because a lot of times our twins were separated and put in different classrooms, right? And so they just knew. And to me, that's such a higher level of a form of brain power than most of us have, that they're able to tap into that. And for them, it's completely normal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, biologically, like those cells, formed and were created at the same time and progressed at the same level. But also, like, cognitively, if you think about like brain waves, the electrical activity that happens like within the mind, and these brains are starting from like single cells and growing into like, full human brains, like they're doing that at the same time within the same energy, So, I mean, it totally makes sense that there would be some sort of connection, like that electrical connection that's formed during like the growth of the brain wouldn't just go away.
Right. I think it's fascinating when you read
especially if you're identical.
Yes. Yeah, definitely identical.
Yeah,
but
because
the twins that
divided.
The twins that have been separated, like at birth, and adopted out, who then marry almost exactly the same looking person, who have led the same life. They may be in the same occupation. They've had the same injuries. I mean, where does that come? Like they both broke their arm in the 11th grade kind of thing. It's wild. These are wild examples of almost more advanced humans. I don't know what else you can classify them as.
Well, that kind of like makes me think like of like the astrological charts, you know, because like especially like depending on where you're born, it's likely nowadays if you're born in like a city or like a very populous area that you're going to have people in that same hospital, like in that same area, born within like hours or minutes of you, you know, and that determines, you know, how you're, it's like a life map. It determines like how your life's going to go, like how likely you are to go and be in a certain field or, you know, feel a certain way emotionally or have a certain upbringing, you know. And I'm still learning about all this. Like when I did mine, it was like scary accurate. And I'm 30, you know, at this point, and I'm like, okay, well, how did it know? But like twins are obviously born around the same time in the same place. So I wonder if it would have a correlation that way as well.
You know, I don't know, because we have like Susie always says, we have free will. And just because I was born in a particular hospital, I don't think we moved to a completely rural area growing up. So I had a completely different life, and that they would not have probably been the same occupation. You know what I'm saying? I think there's so much more that comes into that. I don't know. I mean, potentially, but look at even people, maybe all of the people that, let's say, if there's New York City Hospital, I don't know if there is one, but let's say there's 2 million people born there, you know, certainly there's going to be a percentage of people that have the same occupation and kind of life, but they're going to be completely different. Right. I mean, you know, maybe some of them. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what guides that. Because they could have all had the same chart, kind of the same type of chart, but I don't know. I don't know. Like what else aligns?
Well, do you have yours? You've had yours done, right, Colleen?
Yeah.
Or not yet. Okay. How accurate is it? Just out of curiosity.
Well, the first one wasn't accurate at all, apparently. But I lived almost my whole adult life thinking it was, and it really threw me for a loop when Celeste did it. And she goes, that's not right at all. Who told you this? And I'm like, I still have it somewhere. It really shook me because I believed what this woman said to the point where it made me choose different paths that I would have maybe chosen had she not said what she said to me.
Like it totally became like a power of suggestion instead of like what you felt like you should be doing or what you wanted for your own life.
Yeah. Wow. Like if I go down this particular road, it's going to end pretty tragically. Where if I go down this other path, and then Celeste is like, what they told you was completely wrong. And I'm like, oh my God, so I had it done in my 20s and you just did it recently. So into my 50s.
Yeah, a year or so ago. Yeah. Well, my situation wasn't with birth chart, but I had a very well-known psychic here in town. I was part of a meditation group in I would say it was the late 90s. And this one night she came and was doing readings for everybody in the meditation group. And I am the first skeptic that will go, you're fake, or you don't know what you're talking about. So we're sitting there and she goes around this way. She gets to me and then she kind of hops and goes around the other way. And then she finally comes back to me and she goes, you're really hard to read. And I'm like, really? Okay. And she told me things that affected my life and caused me to make different choices than I probably would have otherwise. And it's like that's why I tell people, don't let someone tell you what the future is going to be, because our decisions that we make right now affect that. And if somebody has told you something and it changes a decision you would have made or a direction you would have went, it changes your life. And Colleen is the prime example. Being told something that wasn't completely accurate, it wasn't completely wrong, but it was quite wrong.
It was pretty wrong.
It changes everything. It changes
It
how you
did.
view the world. It changes how you view yourself.
Mhm.
Relationships, decisions for careers. And it's like,
Yeah.
it makes me angry
Mhm.
when people tell you, oh, I'm the end all be all. I can tell you everything and da 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 da. It's manipulating people's lives and it manipulates your free will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would rather I prefer to work with the healing and talking about now or talking about in general, not, oh my gosh, next Thursday, this is, or
Mhm.
you're never going to find the right person. You're never going to get married.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? With my attitude today, that could be true, but I may change my mind or I may meet someone I connect with. And if you told me I'm never going to get married, I may just walk away, not thinking that they're an important person.
Mhm. Yeah, so don't believe everything you hear out there from a psychic that you go to. Be very, very careful and maybe go to a bunch of them and then
Mhm.
pick and choose what works
Yeah.
for you, because it really did change the way I live my life by
Same.
getting the bad reading that I got.
Yeah.
There were parts of her reading that were spot on, but the rest of it, I wish I would not have changed the paths I was on
Mhm.
because of her reading, because
Mhm.
my life would have been completely different. Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe worse. I don't know, but it would have been different.
Right.
Not saying that my life is bad now, but it would have been different.
Yeah, it alters your free will.
It sure does.
And it's like the other side of that is I hear people that go to mediums and the mediums can always connect them to people, but it didn't sound like what my dad would say. Well, my experience, and I can't speak for every medium on the planet, you cannot always connect with the person. It's just like calling someone on the phone. If they don't want to answer that phone and talk to you, they're not going to. I can't force them. I'm not going to force them. So it's like you have to listen to your intuition and you have to trust yourself as much or more than anyone else. It doesn't mean don't listen at all, but don't change your whole life over what somebody said.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be with you again next Wednesday, and we are live tomorrow night with a discussion on some weirdness around St. Valentine's Day. So I hope you guys join the fun. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:00. McKenna, Celeste, love you.
Love you
And
too.
see you
Night,
guys.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.